was sitting in the school cafeteria with my friend Louise. It was just your typical boring day at school when Louise suddenly let out a gasp.
"Where did they come from?"
she said. I spun around to see what had caught her attention. My mouth dropped open. I was lost for words. Standing at the entrance were the two best-looking boys I had ever seen in my life. They were obviously identical twins. You couldn't tell them apart. "Wow," I said. "Who are they?"
"Hey, I saw them first,"
Louise said, laughing. I knew she was only messing around. She already had a serious boyfriend. She wasn't interested in anyone else. "I'm going to introduce myself to them," I said, standing up. "But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and then you'll definitely meet your dream date." I walked over to the twins. "Hi, I'm Tessa." "Hi, Tessa. I'm Sam. This is my twin brother, Sean," said one of the boys. "Are you new here?" I asked. The twins told me that they had just moved here because their dad had bought a company in our town. "Well, if you need anyone to show you around, just let me know," I said. "Thanks. We might take you up on that offer," Sam said. The bell signaling the end of lunch break rang. "Better get back to class," I said. "See you around." I went back to where Louise was sitting. "Oh my God," I said. "I think I've just died and gone to heaven. They're so cute." I could hardly concentrate on my lessons for the rest of the day. I just kept on thinking about the twins. I definitely had a big crush on them, but I wasn't so sure who I liked more. The twins were soon popular with everyone at school. They were both really good at sports, and it wasn't before long they had made it onto all the school sports teams. They were also really good fun outside of school. They had only been at our school for a few weeks when they invited everyone to their house for a pool party. I was so excited. This would be my chance to get to know them properly. At school, they were always surrounded by their friends or groups of giggling girls. It was hard to get a moment on my own with them. When we arrived at their house, I was shocked. It was enormous. It literally took me about 10 minutes to walk up the driveway to their house. Their parents were obviously really wealthy. I knew that they always had nice clothes and the latest sneakers, but this was on a whole new level. Their kitchen was bigger than my whole house. We went outside to the garden. Some of my friends were already swimming in the pool. The twins showed me where I could change and told me to help myself to anything I wanted to eat or drink. They had set up a table in the pool house with every possible drink or snack anyone might ever want. I went and joined everyone in the pool, but I still didn't get the chance to speak to them on my own. I felt a bit out of their league, to be honest. Of course, they wouldn't want to date someone ordinary like me. Even though they never showed off about how much money they had, they probably only dated the daughters of their parents' rich friends. My parents weren't rich. They couldn't afford to buy me the latest clothes or give me money to go out to fancy restaurants. Well, if I wanted to date one of them, I would need to start earning my own money. I decided there and then that I would try to find myself a Saturday job. That way, I would have my own money. I would be able to buy nice things and would be able to go to the places they went to. I started looking online for any vacancies in our area. I saw an ad that caught my eye. A company in town was looking for a girl to work on Saturday with sending out emails, answering the telephone, and making coffees. I could definitely do that. I sent off my CV and crossed my fingers. It was only a couple of days later that I got a reply. I nervously opened the email. I couldn't believe it. I had got the job. Saturday morning, I woke up early and got myself ready. After breakfast, my dad drove me into town. "Just do your best, Tessa," he told me as he dropped me off in front of the building. "Good luck." I watched my dad drive off into the distance. Once he was out of sight, I went into the building. There was a lady sitting behind a desk in the middle of the building. I guessed that she must be the receptionist. "Excuse me," I said. "I'm the new Saturday girl. Where do I need to go?" The receptionist told me I was to go up to the 10th floor. I pushed the elevator button and watched as the numbers went down one at a time. Ping! The doors opened and I stepped inside. My heart was beating so loud I felt sure that everyone else in the elevator would be able to hear it. But if they did, they didn't say anything. Eventually, the elevator reached the 10th floor and the doors opened. You would not believe what happened next. I stepped out of the elevator and banged straight into someone walking down the corridor. "Oh, excuse me," I said. "I'm sorry, I didn't see you there." I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. I was so embarrassed. How could I have done that on my first morning at work? "Tessa?" I heard a voice say. I looked at the person I had bumped into. "Sean? Or Sam?" I said. I could never work out which one of the twins I was talking to. What are you doing here? I asked. This is my dad's company. Oh, and by the way, it's Sean, he said, laughing. What are you doing here? I told him that I had applied to work here as a Saturday girl and had got the job. Will you be seeing a lot of me then? Sean said. Both Sam and I always help out my dad whenever we can. For the rest of the morning, I was really busy. I hardly had time to think about Sean or Sam. It was about 11 o'clock when I eventually had 5 minutes to myself. I sat there looking out of the office window. I'd enjoyed my morning's work and was feeling quite pleased with myself. Suddenly, there was a knock at my door. Come in, I shouted. The door opened and one of the twins walked in. Hey, it's Sean. I thought you might want a cup of tea, he said, handing me a cup. How are you getting on? Oh, it's great. I think I'm going to love working here. We sat and chatted whilst I drank my tea. Sean was so funny and we really hit it off. When he left the office, I sat there thinking to myself about how cute he was. We really had a good connection. The rest of the morning went by like a flash. I couldn't believe it when one of the other girls told me that it was time for my lunch break. There's a company cafeteria on the 12th floor, she said. Most of us head up there for lunch. When I got to the cafeteria, I looked at the list of things they had. I didn't want to waste all my wages on an expensive lunch, so I just picked up a packet of chips and a bottle of water. I put them on my tray and joined the queue to pay. I was just about to reach the cashier when someone tapped me on the shoulder. It looked like it was Sean again. Hi, Sean, I said. No, it's not Sean, it's Sam, he said. I thought I might find you in here. Sam looked down at my tray. Is that your lunch? We can get you something better than that. It's my treat. He picked up a lasagna and a fruit bowl and put it on his tray. Go find a table and I'll pay for this, he said. I went and sat down. Sam joined me and we sat and ate our lunch together. We got on so well. He had me in fits of laughter, telling me silly jokes and stuff. I couldn't believe how kind he was. Both of the twins were really nice. The next day, I was walking along the hallway at school with Louise when I saw one of the twins walking towards us. Hi, Tessa, he said. I wanted to ask you something. Would you like to go to the prom with me? Oh, and by the way, I'm Sam. I couldn't believe that he actually liked me. I never thought I would be so lucky. I was about to say yes when I heard a voice behind me. What's going on? I turned around. It was Sean standing there. Oh, hi, I said. Sam has just asked me to go to the prom with him. Wait, no, I want you to go to the prom with me, said Sean. I looked at them both. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They both wanted to take me to the prom? I saw her first, screamed Sean. She's my date. No, she isn't. She's going with me, Sam screamed back. I looked at them arguing with each other. It was the first time in my life that two boys were fighting over me. Eventually, they stopped arguing and turned to me. There's nothing else for it, Sam said. You will have to choose who you want to go with. I had no idea how I was going to make that decision. I can't choose between you both, I said. What if you make it some sort of competition? Said Louise. Then whoever wins gets to take you to the prom. Yes, that's a good idea, said Sam. You will have to decide what the competition will be, Louise went on. I didn't know what to say. Everyone was crowding around me. Choose, 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 they chanted. Eventually, I said the first thing that popped into my head. Okay, a running race around the school field. The twins both agreed to race each other, so after school that afternoon, we all headed down to the school field. Louise counted down. 3, 2, 1, go! The twins set off sprinting down the field. They were neck and neck as they turned the first corner. It was going to be a tight race. I watched as they turned the last corner and were running on the final leg towards us. Sean started to take the lead. They were in the last 10 meters and Sean was still ahead of Sam. Suddenly, Sean went flying to the ground and fell flat on his face. Sam had tripped him up on purpose. Sam sprinted past him and through the finish line. I couldn't believe what he had done. He had won the race, but he had only done so by cheating. There was no way I was going to go to the prom with a cheat. I walked over to Sam. I'm sorry, Sam. I'm going to go to the prom with Sean. I don't like cheaters, I said. I went and helped Sean to get up. I want to go to the prom with you, Sean, I told him. He smiled at me. Thank you, he said. On the night of the prom, I sat in my parents' living room waiting nervously for Sean to arrive. I felt like a princess in my beautiful pink dress. My mom had helped me with my hair and makeup. I had been looking forward to the night for ages. A big black limo pulled up in front of my house. "I think your date has arrived. You look beautiful, Tessa," my dad said proudly. I went outside. Sean held the car door open for me and I climbed inside the limo. "You look gorgeous, Tessa," he said. I felt like I was dreaming. I had never been so happy in my life before. We had so much fun at the prom. Sean held my hand and told me jokes to make me laugh. "Come on, let's dance," he said, pulling me to the dance floor. We had only been on the dance floor for a couple of minutes when I heard the shouting. I wondered what on earth was going on. Suddenly, I saw Sam standing at the entrance. He was looking around him. "Where are you? Where are you?" he screamed. When he saw us, he came running over. "Tessa, that's Sam you're with. I'm Sean." I looked at them both. "What are you talking about?" I asked. "He locked me in my room and threw away the keys so he could take you to the prom instead of me," Sam or Sean screamed. I wasn't sure who was who. "He's lying. I'm the real Sean. He's just saying that to confuse you," the other twin said. I had no idea who to believe. I didn't know which one of them was telling the truth. I knew that I had to make a decision and there was only one thing for it. "This is just too hard," I said. "I'm not going to date either of you." They looked at me in shock. "You can't mean that," the first twin said. "Why would you give up on us? We could have something really special." "It's twins that share something special, and I don't want to be the ones that come between you two," I said. "I think it's better that we just stay good friends." So that's what we ended up doing. Oh, and in case you were wondering, I never did find out which twin I actually went to the prom with.
"Tyler, get to the principal's office right now." "No, miss, please, I'm sorry. I won't mess around anymore," I said. I couldn't get detention again. My dad would kill me. I was always getting into trouble at school. It wasn't my fault. All the teachers picked on me, especially Miss Jenkins. They said I was a troublemaker and I disrupted all their lessons, but it wasn't true. Half the time, it was my friends messing around, but it always seemed to be me that got caught. I pleaded with her not to give me detention, but she wouldn't back down. I had no choice but to go to see Principal Matthews. Of all my rotten luck, Allison, the most popular girl in school, was having a huge party this weekend, and I had been invited. If my dad found out that I had got into trouble again, there was no way he would let me go. I couldn't let Dad know I had detention again, so I sent Mom a text telling her that I was staying after school for some extra soccer practice. That would explain why I was late home. I finished my detention and ran straight home. Dad was sitting in the room when I got there. "Tyler, come in here," he said. "How was your soccer practice?" "Yeah, it was good," I said. "Right, you're grounded." "What? Why?" "I know you were in detention again. I got an email from the principal telling me." "But it's Allison's party." "Too bad." But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more crazy stories. The morning after Allison's party, I opened my phone and looked at all the photos that my friends had posted online. It looked like it had been so much fun. I couldn't believe that I had missed out on such a good party. I was so annoyed with my dad for grounding me. All I could think about was getting some kind of revenge on my dad, but I had no idea what I could do. I was scrolling through all the photos when suddenly an ad popped up. Usually I just skip the ads, but something caught my eye. "Do you want to brainwash someone?" it said. I clicked on the link. The more I read, the more I realized that this was the perfect answer. In only a few lessons, I could learn how to hypnotize my dad. Then I could control him and make him do everything I wanted. I clicked to make an order. It was quite expensive, but I didn't care. When the package arrived, it had everything that I needed to brainwash my dad. There was a booklet with instructions on how to hypnotize someone and a watch on a chain. I needed to get my dad on his own to do it. I couldn't risk Mom walking in and catching me. I didn't have to wait long for an opportunity. The following day, Mom said she was going out for lunch with her friends. "No problem," said Dad. "Tyler and I will just have the leftover chicken for our lunch." Dad put the plates on the table and we sat down. I got the watch out of my pocket and started waving it from side to side in front of Dad's face. Almost immediately, Dad seemed to go into some kind of trance. I couldn't believe it. I had managed to hypnotize him on the first try. I told him that he must do everything that I ordered him to do, that he should worship me and do whatever he could to make my life perfect. "Now, when I snap my fingers, you will wake up and you won't remember any of this," I told him. I clicked my fingers loudly. Dad came out of the trance and looked at me. Come on, Tyler, eat your chicken. I decided now was the time to test if the hypnotism had worked. Dad, go get me a glass of water, I said. My dad jumped up from his chair and went straight to the kitchen. A few minutes later, he came back holding a glass of water in his hand. Here you go, Tyler. I wondered what else I could get him to do. Dad, after lunch, you will need to do my homework for me. Okay, just give it to me and I'll get it done for you. I couldn't believe it. This was perfect. I knew that my life was going to be so easy from then on. And it was. I didn't have to do anything. Even when Mom gave me some chores to do, I just waited until she was out of the room and I ordered my dad to do it. Sometimes I would get Dad to do things just for a laugh, like the time I had a few friends round to watch a movie. I told them I could get my dad to do anything I wanted, but they didn't believe me. Okay, prove it, said my friend Jake. Get your dad to crawl around the house pretending to be a dog and we'll believe you. My dad came into the lounge and I told him what I wanted him to do. He immediately got down on all fours, walking around, growling and barking like a dog. My friends were in hysterics. Oh my God, that's the funniest thing we've ever seen, they said. Suddenly, I heard Mom opening the front door. Okay, Dad, that's enough. You can stop now, I said. I couldn't risk my mom seeing him like that. If she found out I was able to control him, I would be in big trouble. I managed to keep it from her for a long time, until one night when we were sitting at the dining room table having dinner. I was telling something to Dad when my mom interrupted me. Honey, let's go to, started Mom. Hey, Dad shouted, don't interrupt, Tyler was speaking. Mom looked at my dad in surprise. It's fine, I said to Dad. I quickly changed the subject. I didn't want my mom to wonder why my dad was defending me so much, or she might become suspicious. I decided I should probably not ask Dad to do anything for me for a while. It seemed as though he was becoming a bit overprotective of me. So that evening I sat down and did my history homework. It was the first time in months that I had had to do any work for myself. I rushed through it as quickly as I could and forwarded it to my teacher, Miss Jenkins. The next morning at school, I was walking through the school corridor when I heard my name being called. Tyler, come here. It was Miss Jenkins. I wondered what she wanted with me. Yes, miss, I said. The homework you just handed in was terrible, she said. You will have to do it again, and I'm also giving you an extra essay to write. It must be a minimum of 2,000 words, and I want it finished by tomorrow. I really hated her. She was always giving me extra work to do. I knew that the only reason she was always so mean and nasty was because she was still single. I really wanted to pay her back for always picking on me. That's when the idea popped into my head. I had the perfect plan. I would just get my dad to go on a date with her. I would tell him to take her somewhere nice for dinner, but to treat her really badly on the date. When I got home, I told my dad what I wanted him to do. Okay, Tyler, anything for you, son, said Dad. I just want to make you happy. My dad sent Miss Jenkins a text asking to take her out for dinner on Friday night. Mom was going out for dinner with her friend that night, so she would be out of the way. When my dad left to go to the restaurant, I waited for a few minutes and then followed him. I wanted to see Miss Jenkins' face when she got some of her own treatment. When I got to the restaurant, I hid at the back of the room. I could see my dad and Miss Jenkins sitting at a table together. Dad was saying something to her. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but from the look on Miss Jenkins' face, I could tell it was something mean. I was laughing to myself when suddenly my heart dropped. I couldn't believe it. My mom and her friend had just walked into the restaurant. I tried to get her attention so she didn't see Dad, but it was too late. As soon as my mom saw Dad and Miss Jenkins together, she started screaming. How dare you cheat on me? You are going to regret this. Mom ran out of the restaurant crying. My dad jumped up. Oh no, he shouted as he tried to stop Mom. But he wasn't quick enough. Mom was nowhere to be seen. I ran over to my dad. Dad, this is terrible, I said. I order you to... But before I could finish my sentence, Dad screamed at me. That's enough, Tyler. Huh? You spoke back to me? How dare you? I said. Why aren't you doing as I say? Haven't you figured it out yet, Tyler? I've been faking this whole time. What? So, you mean you weren't brainwashed all along? No, of course I wasn't. You can't control someone just from reading a book and waving a watch in front of their eyes for a few minutes. So why did you play along with it? Why did you do everything I told you to do? Dad told me that he had just wanted to see how low I would stoop. He wanted to see how bad I would treat my own father if I was given the chance. Now I realize you have got to change, said Dad. Your behavior has gotten out of control. Then he said the worst thing you could possibly imagine. We are going to send you to summer school, Tyler. They will need to teach you how to behave. There will be no school holidays for you this year." "No, Dad, please, not summer school," I begged. "I'll do anything you ask me to. Just please, don't send me away." "Can't you see what you've done? Because of you, my wife now thinks I'm cheating on her." "I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to go this far. I just got carried away with the power." "Well, now you're going to have to explain it all to your mom." "But how will I do that? Mom will be so mad." "Well, you had better figure out a way, or we are going to end up getting a divorce." I ran out of the restaurant and straight home. I had no idea what I was going to say to my mom, but I knew I needed to find her, quickly. I opened the front door. I was expecting to see my mom in the kitchen, but all I saw was a note on the kitchen table. I picked it up, my hands shaking as I read it. "I can't handle this," it said. "I'm divorcing your dad and leaving the country now. I'm sorry, Tyler. You will never see me again." I couldn't believe Mom had already gone. I knew that I had to get to the airport and stop her before she got on the plane. I grabbed my coat and I was just about to head out the front door when I heard a sound coming from the living room. There was definitely someone inside the house. I knew my dad was still at the restaurant and my mom had gone to the airport. My heart started beating madly. I realized that someone must have broken into our house. If they were burglars, I knew they would probably be armed. I would need something to defend myself. I looked around for a weapon, but all I could find was a broom. I picked it up and crept towards the living room. I knew that I had to stop them before they got away with any of our things. I opened the door screaming as loudly as I could, hoping to scare them off. But it wasn't burglars in there. It was my mom and dad. I looked at them in astonishment. They were sitting on the sofa together and laughing uncontrollably. "You can put the broom down," said Dad. "Hey, what's going on?" I asked them. "Oh, Tyler, you've been a very silly boy," said Mom. "I know what you've been doing to your dad." It turns out that Mom had known all along what I had been doing to my dad. He had even told her that he was taking Miss Jenkins on a pretend date. Mom had just been acting when she came to the restaurant and screamed at my dad. They had even told Miss Jenkins it wasn't a real date. She had agreed to help Mom and Dad as they all just wanted to teach me a lesson. After that, I was grounded for a month. This turn of events had shocked me to my core, but I guess I deserved it.